Ladies and gentlemen, we are back to give you guys a movie review for the Super Mario Brothers movie. Technically, the second Super Mario Brothers movie, but this is the 2023 fully CGI animated, starring Chris Pratt, starring Anya Taylor-Joy, starring Charlie Day, starring Jack Black. So, an amazing cast. But me and Jorge are about to dissect our personal feelings about this film. What's going on, Jorge?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
We about to
Uh,
get into
let's just,
it.
you know what? I will jump in and I will be the first one. I enjoyed this movie. There's been a lot of people out there who've been giving it slack. I think from an animation point of view, I thought the animation was great. I thought Jack Black killed it as Bowser. Um, Everyone was making a big deal out of Chris Pratt's voice, and I thought it worked. Like it was not distracting at all. Yeah, like the whole movie just it was just fun, which is what you expect. Like I and this is just me making like bold prediction, but I see this becoming like the new Minions. Like I can see there being like 6 or 7 different movies spinning off of this. So yeah, no, I will, because I know there's been a lot of hate so far here in the beginning, like with some of the critics, but this movie was awesome. Like I don't care what people say.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys straight. I never looked at any of the trailers. When people were talking about Chris Pratt, I hadn't even heard his voice, so what I saw was what I saw, and I wasn't even looking for like this deep, elaborate story. I knew this wasn't gonna be Mario put in the real world, much like Sonic was. So I was kind of because I was kind of like with Sonic, it's like you put him in the real world, there has to be a story to kind of gauge why. It's not just Sonic growing up and working with, the certain resistance fighters. Like, it's Mario.
Yeah.
Mario, as in Princess Peach is married to Bowser. Mario's trying to go and trying to get to the castle and rescue Princess Peach. That's it. If you play like, Mario Party or Mario 360, Paper Mario, like there's different variations of Mario all over. But I mean, of course, Mario Kart. Outside of that, I've never had in my head this concept of a good to great story to take Mario. It's always going to be like, how enjoyable is the experience going to be? So
Yep.
for me, I enjoyed it. Like, I actually really, truly enjoyed it. And I'll kind of break down my reasons why, but I'm kind of like Jorge. I don't understand the hate because I never had a preconceived notion that this was going to need an elaborate story,
Yeah.
especially when it's going to be in this tight knit world. The thing that I didn't perceive is they would give like Princess Peach the actual story. Like they actually gave her a little bit of depth. They
Yeah.
actually took Bowser as opposed to him just being like the big boss and being menacing, which Jack Black definitely was menacing. I think he did a great job with it. They added a little bit of, sympathy to his character, which
Yeah.
didn't seem conceivable until, I saw this movie. There's a lot of small little nudges here that kind of made this, to me, man, one of the more entertaining video game movies because I think that there's a balance. Like with certain things, like I think, what was it? Like Warcraft,
Yeah.
like that was serious, right? Even the Mario Brothers movies that came out in the 90s, they did just that. They made it like this serious, like all over the top kind of thing. So I'm kind of figuring out what people want, and maybe it's the critics. I'm curious what you guys think for the audience because I personally enjoyed it. But we'll kind of go and dissect some of the things that we liked, and we'll talk about some things we didn't like. But we're going to be real quick with it because honestly, the consensus is we enjoyed it, and I
Yeah.
think that you will enjoy it too. I think your kids will enjoy it. I think tonally, there's times where it gets over the top. And then there's times where I'm like, I love that it's getting over the top. So yeah. But Jorge, what were some of the things you kind of piqued your interest with this one that you didn't
So
expect?
I think for me, I didn't expect Peach to have such a large like center point in this. And for her to there's a sequence where she's just kind of training Mario through like, kind of a little made up, kind of obstacle course. That was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Another person who I kind of enjoyed a lot also was Donkey Kong. And
Yeah.
the way that they used his character and how they incorporated, like realistically Mario Kart into like that final, you know, like that third act, I thought was just really really smooth. I enjoyed how they explored different worlds in such a unique way. So for example, like when they went to like the, I think it's called like the Darklands, like that
Mhm.
reminded me of Luigi's Mansion.
Yep.
You know, and it's, you kind of start seeing how all these portals can lead to different worlds, which for me it just starts, you know, I kind of start thinking, okay, they can make a movie from this, they can make a movie from that. But overall, it's like I thought the animation was good. And I agree with you. Like the story may like it's a Mario movie, like, and it's a cartoon movie. Like I'm not expecting the deepest of stories. Like I'm expecting to go in there and have fun and like, you know, cheer on when stuff happens. Um, and I got all that. So for me, it's, you know, this was this was highly entertaining. But I do appreciate and it was very lightly touched upon the very beginning, kind of it brings up like Mario and Luigi kind of like their home life,
Right.
you know, like before they kind of go into like the pipes and all that stuff. And I thought that was just a cool little like way of just giving them a little backstory instead of just like throwing them into like, oh look, it's Mario, like everyone knows who Mario is. So I thought that aspect of it was just really nice. But no, I think there's so many, I think that's something about this movie. There's so many little snippets that I can take from it and just enjoy it,
Right.
like the memories that it was invoking and things like that, and even like the little Easter eggs. Like there were so many Easter
So
eggs
many freaking Easter.
in this movie, like ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I think for me that those are the high points. It's like this brought me the nostalgia that I wanted, and it brought me Mario, like a good Mario movie, which
Right.
is going to be interesting because now you have, you know, an animated Mario movie, a live action Sonic movie. So it's just going to be interesting kind of seeing how people lie, because I think that's going to be what people will directly compare this to.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it falls in the same category.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this is an animated video game movie.
Yeah.
It's not like Mario is a real person and he's kind of drawn into a digital, you know, animated world. It's just is what it is. And I mean, to be fair, let's be real. These guys are plumbers. They are jumping on, you know, turtles and popping the shells around. They are in carts and throwing banana peels. Like, like, what do you guys want here? So
You
for me,
know, oh,
like, I not that I'm not a big Mario fan, but as far as Mario's lore, I don't know a lot about Mario's lore. But I do know the baseline, and I know kind of like somebody like Peach. I never would have thought that I would rally behind Peach. Like I was like, oh, okay, she's freaking dope.
yeah,
And like you said, or hey, like how they use like Donkey Kong's world, like Princess Peach's world, the Toad world, and then even like the original. I'm not going to spoil it. There's another world that Bowser hits immediately. Just that it kind of gave me Game of Thrones vibes, like stuff like that were
yeah.
just so subtle Easter eggs of pop culture, but also adding and merging in the world of Mario that you may remember, you maybe you don't, but it's like this is a healthy dose of entertainment for me. So as far as like the action sequences, like there's a scene where they're all getting their cars. I was hyped. I don't even play Mario Kart like that, but I was like, oh, this is dope.
The
I'll
way
tell
that
you
they did
who
that
my
was awesome, though.
right, right. But I'll tell you who my favorite character is Toad. Toad has always been like, you know, the underdog and like the cute, lovable one, but he was a whole pound in this. I loved Toad. Toad had some of the more entertaining moments of just his lines of dialogue kind of
Yeah.
riffing off of everything else that was happening. But he was kind of like, okay, this is the hero, you know, like I'm all the way sold on Toad in this one. To your point, even with like Donkey Kong, his dad, and even using like I gotta talk about the best character is definitely Bowser.
Yeah.
Like Jack Black killed it. Like he not only was equally menacing and dark, but he was hilarious
Yep.
and he had an amazing singing voice.
Well, that's another thing that we didn't like, the soundtrack to this
Oh
like movie,
yes.
phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. The soundtrack was dope because it was a mixture of, all the sounds that we get from different stages of Mario,
Yep.
but they remixed them and they made it fun. I don't know how to kind of put it. Like, it's not like they were trying to make it like, oh, I'm trying to reinvent the wheel. They were like, no, I'm gonna take what you already remember and feel, and I'm gonna make it work for every single sequence, whether it's an action one, whether it's a funny romantic one, or man, there is like you said, the sequence where Luigi is kind of running away from a castle situation. I was like, oh, this is giving me Luigi's Mansion vibes.
Yeah.
And I love that. I really did love that.
No,
But
this was definitely like 2 thumbs up. Like I can't not like I can't figure out something to like knock it. Because I guess for me, I came into it knowing it was a Mario movie, you know? And I didn't have I'm wondering if all these people who are giving it like bad reviews or something, I'm wondering if they just came in there expecting something completely else. Because I was just expecting, nostalgia and to have fun. And like visually to be a pretty movie, which
yeah.
it was. Because Mario, like for most of Mario, it's like bright colors and all this. And it checked off all those boxes.
Yeah, there's not. I will say if I'm gonna go and be Oprah super critical on a Mario movie, was there pacing issues? I don't know. I don't really care. Was there a central story that kind of brought Mario out of his shell, so to speak? Even though he's the main character, no. In a lot of different ways, it was more about the relationship between him and his brother that cemented Mario to be who we expect him to eventually be. Because in the very beginning, you can see it, but it's not there just yet. Even like Jorge kind of brought up, there's a training montage that Peach is trying to get Mario to get through. He's not able to do it. Throughout this movie, he's having to become what we know him to be.
Yep.
And Luigi doesn't get a lot of airtime. Princess Peach definitely has. Princess Peach and Bowser have the best arcs because there's intrigue there. Like there's certain things about Princess Peach in this. I was like, oh wow, I never thought about that. This is interesting. And then with Bowser, they've never taken in that approach for it. But as far as the actual story, like, does it make sense? No, they are going in multiple different worlds through sewer holes. Like,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't make any sense. No, it's not like a finite point to kind of like say, oh wow, yeah, I never thought about this. This is such an inventive way of doing this. Could this have been done better by Lord and Miller? I don't know. I just know that for me, watching this film, I was entertained by it. I think I can take my kids to see it. They would be raving, enjoying it. And what it'll invoke is if you've never played the Mario movies, or sorry, the Mario games, and you're like, oh wow, maybe I should get Mario Kart. Maybe I should go and play this with my friends. It'll invoke that feeling like, oh wow, I want to go and rediscover Mario again. I think that's the most important thing. Like, movies don't have to have that much depth or story if the focus is for the fan base, for the kids, and for the entertainment. I think that was the narrative that they kind of wanted to go with this one. I think that the back half, like there were certain moments in the back half, I was kind of like, this may be a waste of time. Like when you're talking about the real world and that world, like, was there a lot of, what's the word? Were there consequences? No, you don't really feel that at all. But I've told you all the critiques. Anything anybody else can come up with, they are spinning a wheel that doesn't make sense to me. I've literally gone through all the different critical things, and still with me saying all that, I would immediately go and watch this again. I really actually enjoyed the Super Mario Brothers movies. For me, 8.5 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed it. I'd go and watch it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah. See, I think I'm a little bit higher. I'm at 9 out of 10. Like I truly enjoyed this, and for this being the basis of what's to come, especially with like the after credits scene and all that stuff. Like this is just like this is the best start to a franchise that I could think of.
Yeah, and I'll ask this to any of you guys that are kind of like, well, what about what the critics said about this? Like, I would say, look and see what they've thought about like Sing, or look and see what they said about Minions, make an accurate assessment based on what the subject matter is. If this was not the IP of Mario, would this be getting this much pushback? Because I don't think it would be. I think that Minions in and of itself kind of came out of nowhere. This is, Illumination's IP. Sing was just like naturally. I mean, it was great because of the singing, and I think the second one is even better than the first one. But I think because this is a big IP like Mario Bros, people have this perception of what the expectation should be. And I think that may be a part of why they kind of graded it so harshly. But just take that into consideration. I don't have anything else.
Yeah, no, that's it for me. I would definitely say go see it. I would love for people to like drop a comment on like what your favorite scene was or your favorite character. Yeah, because I think this movie hits so many different areas. Like I would just love to hear what the masses have to say.
Yeah, and if Illumination kind of shrugs off the bad criticism, there's going to be multiple movies of this, and there's going to be spinoffs immediately. Yeah, they might even make Nintendo, if they're smart. This may be the time where Nintendo says, you know what? We've got a game for all consoles.
That would be huge.
I'm just saying this to me is a good gateway to do that. But we'll see.
Goodness, you're dropping a bomb on us right there. But yes, I agree.
Well, we're gonna go, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Like Jorge said, let us know in the comment section below. Depending on, we might pick on one of you guys to go and see another movie. Maybe we'll give you guys a free movie ticket. We'll see. Later.
Falling off the top